So West Ham struggles continue from last season despite significant investment, boys. A new manager, new players. What's going on? What's the problem at West Ham?
I think it's the same as what it was last year. I don't think there's any pace in the team. I think if there was one player last season that could get around the middle of the park and around midfield and hurry people up when they didn't have the ball, was Kouyate, who's gone to Crystal Palace. And he went for a cup of tea. I went for I think for about £8 million, which is nothing. And he was the one person that would go and engage and try and get the ball back. You watch him now when they haven't got the ball. No one can get around the pitch. I just think they're paceless. I think they're an easy team to play against at the moment, which is a shame. I mean, you'd have thought with the amount of money they spent. But again, Anderson, will he be good? Will he not be good? I don't think West Ham have got time for that. I think they needed to buy proven Premier League players where you can go, right, he'll come in and he'll do a job for me. He might not be top drawer, but he's going to do a job for me. They need 3 or 4 Milners in their team. Not like luxury players. When
you look at the amount of money that they spent, it's 100 million. So it's a lot of money, really, in comparison to the rest of the table as well. They sit at the bottom at the moment. Who would you say have the successful signings been?
I don't know. It's different. It's a little bit unfair to say, really.
Could you say Fabianski is
Fabianski's
well?
He's a very good goalkeeper. It was a wise signing. They tried Joe Hart last year. It didn't quite work out. I think he's a good signing. Yeah. Proven Premier League goalkeeper. But also, I don't know, I agree with Paul on this as well. It just seems to be the same type of players they're looking to sign. Out of possession, they're a poor team. They just can't get close to people. They can't get up to the ball. So easy to play against. The intensity of being able to, to close down. They don't hunt in packs. 1v1, they struggle. And once you've got that, especially in this league, you have to be good without the ball in this league. And they've just signed 1 or 2 players who, are good on the ball, but West Ham type of players, if you understand what I mean, especially over the last 2-3 years. They're looking for that next player. These boys don't always come round. Without the ball, there's been a big problem. Pellegrini, I'm not sure he's involved in too many of the signings. It just looks to me, I don't know what's going on here, because you're signing players that don't fit where you're having problems, especially over the last 2-3 years.
Well, they're buying players like they're a team that are going to have 75% of the ball every week, and they're not a team that do have a lot of percent. So if you haven't, you've got to have people who are going to get you the ball back. And they haven't got that. And I do worry for them at the moment, I really do.
Let's have a little look at the league table, just to remind us where they are. We know they're rock bottom, but it's 4 games with no points. And they're conceding goals left, right and centre. Look at that at the bottom of the table. Considering the money that they've spent, you wouldn't expect to see them down there. We can have a little look at, perhaps, the story behind this. They conceded 10 goals. That's the joint most in the league with Huddersfield. They also haven't scored that many goals. 2 goals scored in 4 games. That's the fewest with Cardiff and Huddersfield as well. And in terms of what they needed to bring in, we knew last season that defensively they were weak because they conceded a lot of goals last season as well. Positions that you needed to strengthen, what would you have said last season that they need to go out and do especially? Would you say a defensive midfielder?
I thought they needed a centre-half. I thought they needed full-backs. I thought they needed a holding midfield player. Or someone, if Kouyate has gone to get around the pitch, and then I think going forward, I think Arnautović, I think he's a special player, I really do. I think going through the middle, but bar that, they need a lot of players. They do need a lot of players. I think the fans are with them at the moment. They are with them because they'll give them time and give them time. But you look at their next 3 home games and take Man City, that's not one of them. The other 3, you wouldn't want to play any of them. I mean,
let's have a little look at them then. Everton, Chelsea, United,
Chelsea,
Brighton,
United,
Spurs.
and Tottenham. Their next 3 home games.
Where are the points going to come from, Craig?
Look, Chelsea and Manchester United, West Ham fans will get behind their team for those 2 games. So, against Bournemouth, against Watford, they were expected to get 3 points. It didn't. Listen, in the Premier League, it doesn't always quite work out that way. But I'd actually feel at this present moment a little bit more comfortable with West Ham gaining points from the likes of Chelsea, from the likes of Manchester United, because they're going to have to put everyone behind the ball and look to counter-attack with Arnautović, because, like I said, it just doesn't work for them when they're pressing, when they're on the front foot, trying to break a team down, because they're just so vulnerable to counter-attacks, and they haven't got the players who can really get round the pitch or stop counter-attacks with pace, because they're just so vulnerable.
You mentioned Marko Arnautović. not a natural striker necessarily. Is that going to cause
He
problems
is
the
now.
further we go in?
He is.
Do you think he's adapted to that role?
Yeah,
perfectly then?
he's been... I was always... Look, I'm fully aware of his ability. I've always been aware of his ability, but there was too many... You know, if he had one good game, then the next 3-4 he'd go missing. And when he was out wide, he would... If he had a lot of the ball, brilliant, but then sometimes you would lose interest. He frustrated me because I knew there was a real top player there. But at times, he would just look disinterested. Credit to David Moyes, he put him up top, and he just looks... He's involved in the game all the time. I've been so impressed with him up front. He's the one player for me at this present moment West Ham do have a bit of pace, do have as a threat. But, you know, he's a volatile player as well. And if it isn't going his way at this, you know, coming round about January, he's one player... If there is going to be interest and West Ham are struggling, he's going to test you.
You think so?
I'm a big fan of his. I really am a big fan. I was shocked that he was still at West Ham in the summer. I really was. I thought one of the big boys would have bought him. I think if he wasn't going to play for one of the big boys, he was a great squad player. And I really do. 2 weeks ago, they were at Arsenal at 1-1. It was in the balance. I thought they were going to be the team that were going to go on and win it. So they're not a million miles away. You know, they're not getting absolutely ripped, and you know they're not getting ripped apart, and they're letting 5s and 6s in. It's just they need to change their shape. They need to get behind the ball. I think they're caught in between at the moment. As soon as they lose the ball, they just got to get right back and probably play Arnautović up front, and then get someone to play in the hole who's going to knit it together. But at the moment, I don't see any shape. I don't see any shape there at the moment. I just think it's, I'll go and go out. Good luck. I see it like that.
Pellegrini is a proven winner, but how difficult is it?
You're a proven winner when you've got the players.
Well, that's it. How difficult is it to then come down into a team like West Ham?
Wow. This is a problem, because he's managed at that level with Man City, with top draw players, where you put on a session and you get them out and you go and tell them what to do, and they go bang, and you sit there and they go bang wallop, and you go, cool, that was handy, do your interview, move on. Now... I can't remember when he would have been in this position where he's scratching his head. I've been a manager before, and honestly, you look at it and you're thinking, where am I going to get my next win? And he will look at them fixtures. He will be looking right and he'll be thinking, if we don't win there, we won't win there. And before you know it, it's a horrible feeling, and you feel sorry for all managers in that position, because you just don't know where the next win's coming from.
Craig, he rotates a lot. Does it feel like he doesn't know his best 11 yet?
Look, he rotated quite a lot at Manchester City, but he had the players to come in, and the quality was... Look, at Manchester City, he was always a stopgap. They needed, you know, after Mancini, they needed someone who could just bring a little bit of harmony, be a nice guy in and around the place, because at the end of Mancini's reign, he upset quite a lot of people. There was a lot of fractions within the club, and, you know, with Khaldoon, they didn't want it going that way. That wasn't going to be the case. So Pellegrini was the right man just to come in there and just bring a little bit of peace. They knew they had the players, but listen, Pep was always coming in. That was always going to happen. So he was just a stopgap during that period. He's had good success in Spain, but this is a different ball game now. Now he's going to be up against it. And does he know the players? I know he changed the team. I'm not sure he knew many of the players they were signing, and I'm not sure he's really... Look, I could be completely wrong, but knowing what I heard of him off Man City, I'm still not too sure he would have done as much homework on West Ham last season and watched as much of them to know what his best team is, to know their weaknesses.
I've got a tweet that I want to read you guys out, and you can get involved if you want. You can tweet us at Sky Sports PL, and we might just read you messages out like this one from Ian. He says, do you feel that West Ham have signed too many unproven Premier League players?
Yeah, I mean, they've spent a lot of money on Anderson. I mean, but... I watched him at Arsenal, he was man of the match, and he was outstanding. But that consistency level, this is a hard league. And as I say, you ain't got that time. You know, managers don't have 6, 8, 7 months, and if Anderson's going to be great in a year's time. You know, Wilkshire's played, you know, he'll play all the games. People go, oh, will he play enough? He'll play. You know, he'll keep himself fit. The others, I mean, Sanchez, who lost the ball there, he weren't ripping it up at Aston Villa when he played for Aston Villa. He struggled. I mean, so, yeah, I'd be interested to see who bought these players. I really would.
It's an unforgiving league, and this is a difficult question for me to ask you guys, but how much time should you afford a new manager like Pellegrini?
I'm not into the sacking of managers, you know, especially after 3-4 games. You've just given pre-season. He's just come in. unless there's something really seriously going wrong behind the scenes. But look, at the end of the day, if West Ham now have appointed this guy, you've got to stick with him. You've got to stick with him. It's your decision. You thought he was good enough only about 2-3 months ago to bring him in. Now, if it isn't going away, you would want it. That's football at times. Now you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt because you must have thought he was good to bring him in.